In this video, I'll summarize the plot of Don Quixote in about 4 minutes and give you an analysis of the story. The novel begins in La Mancha, Spain, where an aging gentleman named Alonso Quijano becomes obsessed with chivalric romances. Consumed by these tales, he reinvents himself as Don Quixote, a knight-errant determined to bring justice to the world. He dons old armour, renames his worn-out horse Rocinante, and selects a local peasant woman, Dulcinea del Toboso, as his idealised ladylove, despite her being unaware of his devotion. Without proper training or preparation, he sets out on his first adventure, seeking to revive the age of knighthood. However, his misguided attempts at heroism quickly lead to humiliation when he mistakes an inn for a castle and is knighted by an amused innkeeper who plays along with his delusions. Determined to prove himself, Don Quixote embarks on a series of adventures, many of which result in disaster. He famously attacks a group of windmills, believing them to be giants, only to be struck down by their rotating blades. Soon after, he meets Sancho Panza, a pragmatic farmer whom he convinces to serve as his squire with the promise of a future governorship. Together, they wander the countryside, with Don Quixote misinterpreting ordinary events as grand chivalric quests. He mistakes a group of monks for enchanters, attempts to rescue captives who do not need saving, and fights innocent travellers whom he believes to be villains. His actions frequently end in beatings and ridicule, but his unwavering belief in his cause remains unshaken. As Don Quixote's exploits continue, the people around him react in different ways. Some mock him for their amusement, while others take pity on his delusions. The Duke and Duchess, wealthy nobles, play elaborate pranks on him and Sancho for their own entertainment, further blurring the line between fantasy and reality. Meanwhile, his friends and family, including the local priest and barber, worry about his deteriorating mental state and plot to bring him home. Despite their efforts, Don Quixote remains steadfast in his quest, believing himself to be a hero guided by destiny. Sancho, though initially sceptical, becomes increasingly caught up in the fantasy, especially when he is given a false governorship as part of the noble's cruel jokes. As the novel progresses, Don Quixote's faith in his chivalric ideals begins to waver. After enduring repeated failures, he faces moments of self-doubt, though he quickly suppresses them. Sancho, having tasted power during his fake governorship, grows disillusioned with the promises of knightly glory and longs for a simple life. The journey continues, but the illusions that once sustained Don Quixote begin to fade. In one of his final adventures, he is challenged to a duel by the Knight of the White Moon, actually a friend disguised in armour, who defeats him and forces him to return home. Defeated and broken, Don Quixote returns to his village, where he falls into a deep depression. No longer able to sustain his illusions, he acknowledges the folly of his past and renounces his knightly identity. Soon after, he falls ill, and in his final moments he reverts to Alonso Quijano, the man he once was. He dies peacefully, leaving behind a legacy of both foolishness and inspiration. Sancho mourns his master, recognizing the beauty in his dreams even as they were rooted in madness. One of the novel's central themes is the tension between reality and illusion. Don Quixote lives in a world of his own making, seeing magic and heroism where none exist. His refusal to accept reality leads to both tragedy and comedy, as his noble intentions clash with the harshness of the real world. However, Cervantes also suggests that reality is not always superior to illusion. While Don Quixote's fantasies cause him suffering, they also give his life purpose. Sancho, initially the voice of reason, eventually embraces elements of his master's dream, showing that imagination can shape reality in unexpected ways. Don Quixote represents the struggle between idealism and practicality. He refuses to accept the cynicism of the world, believing in a code of honour that no longer exists. While his ideals are admirable, they often lead to harm, both for himself and those around him. Sancho Panza, as his foil, represents a more grounded approach to life, valuing tangible rewards over abstract ideals. Yet by the end of the novel, it is clear that neither perspective is entirely right or wrong. Don Quixote's dreams may be foolish, but they inspire those around him, proving that even flawed idealism has the power to shape the world.